little later. Sorry. Busy doing, being, seeing. I want to talk about this one. This one has been tripping on my mind all night long. So, being what I do, I have to basically give some economic reality to the youngins to make them hopefully understand that, we are in a crazy place. We're in an area, of the world where, at least in existence, that we haven't been in my lifetime. And they're going to get a set of circumstances that they're not really going to like. And it's worse now than it's been. And basically, this is not really the time to F around. This is a time of FAFO. You F around and you find out, right? And it's tough. It's tough because they're too young. They don't understand. They don't see it. They don't get it. They haven't had a little bit of nut kicking by life. They're still kind of wet behind the ears, whatever you want to call it. They just don't get it. And it's, not really their fault. They're just young. So you try to tell them. You try to say, hey, come on, man. Look, let me tell you, blah, blah, blah. You give them numbers. You give them things. When I was living in New York, my rent was $600, 15, 20 years ago. And now it's $3,000. Things like that. It's 5 times as much in a very short time. And they don't get it. Some of them do. Some of them are like, oh, wow, I should listen. And then there's the kids that are like arrogant and they're going to really just get their face ripped off. They don't get it. So this story has really stuck out at me. And the reason why is because this is my wife and I. You're trying to raise a family. We've got 3 kids. We're in the heart of it. We got a 5-year-old up to a 12-year-old with a 9-year-old as well. So we're in the thick of it. And sports is starting to become a thing, especially with my older daughter who's really good at her sport. My younger daughter is starting to get into it as well because she wants to be as good as the other daughter. And then there's my son, who the only reason why he's not in sports this spring is because he broke the ever-loving crap out of his wrist back in the fall. And we're giving it a year to heal, because it had a lot of work done on it. So, family of 5, and we're trying to make it in. It now says that it takes $177,798 for a family of 4 to live, quote, comfortably in the United States. Now, there's some caveats to this. Where is that comfortable? If you've ever lived in New York City, $177,798, that's not going to get you crap for 4 people. You are literally poor in New York City at, just under $178K a year with both you and your wife working, right? And that's kind of the problem. So, high inflationary policies, many years. It's reached a point where inflation is wildly out of control. Now, I don't think I have to tell you how wildly out of control inflation is. It's bad. And as he says here, and he is correct, this is just the beginning. We are just shooting out the gates at this stuff. We haven't even seen anything yet. How much did silver go up today? Was it 4%, 5%? Now, the good news is I own silver, a healthy amount. And, great, good for me, but not for other people, not for inflation. These are all signs. And I guess the saddest thing about it is most people don't understand this. They really just think that everything happening right now is totally normal. We're good. It's all just natural, normal stuff going on. Economic normality is upon us and everything is okay. And it's not. It's not okay. Silver shouldn't go up 4% in a day. Now, it should probably be higher than it is. There's a lot I could say about that. I'm not going to. That's another video for another time. But still, to go up from where it was to where it is in the short time it has, along with gold, something's going on in the background. Something is breaking, I guess, is the best way to put it. So I like this guy because this is like your typical economist. For Joe, he's coming out, oh, this is the American family right now. Look at all that money that they've got to spend. They're going out and they're spending the money. Oh, things are so good. Things have just never been better in Joe's America. God bless you. That's right. You're happy, I'm happy. And, the funny thing is that, I mean, you look at the numbers and everything, the man has got to pull off some form of a hat trick to get elected again. I really think, even with all the chicanery, I don't even think he's going to make it. I don't know anyone, with the exception of some idiot teachers, that are going to vote for this jackass. And I mean, honestly, I hate to put it, they're oblivious. They have no clue. They've had the government job and the government insurance and the government everything. Like they've never really been out there and had just a normal job where you got to have insurance on your own and life on your own, and everything wasn't really handed to you. It's just it's a perspective thing. They've never been there. They don't understand it. They've got the cushy government job with all the cushy government benefits. Joe's their guy, and they really don't understand all the other stuff going on. And so, because of that, these are the people that are going to vote for Joe. But the group is dwindling. I read a thing where it said African Americans Trump's got twice the amount of African American voters that are going for him. And it makes sense. All these people are coming out. Antonio Brown said he's voting for Trump. Don King said he's voting for Trump. These are influential African Americans that are going to go out there, and they're going to probably get some people to come on board with them. Well, it's getting more and more and more and more and more. It's tougher and tougher and tougher for them to sell this crap to anyone, to people. It's just, people aren't buying it anymore. The world is too expensive. It is too expensive now for people to just even kind of fake it. And so the messaging, too, out of the administration, the messaging is horrible. Most of the people that are in his administration are trying to message to people, trying to get out the word that everything is great and it's never been better, and Joe's done this and Joe's done that. They're pretty crappy at their jobs. They're not good. Now, it's kind of not their fault because they're working with a lot of really terrible numbers. So, when you're trying to sell a poop sandwich, you gotta do your best. But in the end, the people are laying down money for the poop sandwich. Well, this is Joe's poop sandwich. Incredibly shocking new study. Most Americans do not make enough money to live comfortably in the highly inflationary environment that we find ourselves today. Recent study revealed that incomes needed for families to live comfortably across the U.S. Now, where is this? I would love to know. A stark contrast to the cost of living between states is startling. It revealed that most expensive states, families need nearly $300,000 to live comfortably. Now, that's got to be your California, that's got to be your New York, that's got to be your Massachusetts, your Illinois, your big, fat, liberal hubs. And by the way, they're not liberal. There's nothing liberal about them. If they were liberal, they would be okay with free speech. These are not liberals. These are progressives. These are fascists. They are. Even though they think they're on the other side, right? If you're screaming about democracy, you might be a fascist. So, $300,000. Now, when I was growing up, if my buddy, his dada, was making 300 grand, I mean, this kid was like freaking Jeff Bezos. And I had poor friends and I had not poor friends, right? You could tell the friends, you go over there and, the place smells like soup and mama's always cooking and, a bunch of people are coming in and out, and they don't got the nice sofas and the nice TV and the nice stuff. Like those guys, I had poor friends. But then you got the friends too that got the leather couch. They got the big screen TV. Friend's got all the games in his room. He's got the action figures. I remember my one friend was really into the WWF at the time, now WWE. And he had all the figures. Man, he had the little like ring set. It was so awesome. We'd go over there. I'd be, freaking Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he would be the Iranian Sheik, and we'd sit there and just battle it out in this little WWF ring. Awesome. Well, now, those people, first of all, they're becoming less, but also, for the people that are making the equivalent of $300,000 a year, that's what it takes to get those kind of stuff for your kids. Now my wife and I, well, I'm not going to say we're lucky. We've worked our tails off to get where we are, but we are okay. All things considered. But like even we are not at this level, nowhere near. When we lived in New York City, we were just starting our family. We had just had one child at the time. And it was expensive. It was super expensive. Cars, everything's got taxes on it. Everything, anything you want to do, you're going to get this crap taxed out of you. So all of your extra income, everything is just kind of vacuum sucked away with literally paying for a nanny state tax system that doles the money out to people that really just piss it away. There's this one guy, I saw a video today, was talking about how if you're an American citizen now, basically you are a second citizen to our new neighbors that are coming over because the new neighbors are getting everything. But again, another video for another day. Study revealed that most expensive states, families, needed nearly $300,000 to live comfortably. Least expensive state, about half the salary, but still over $100,000. Meanwhile, the average annual salary in the U.S. is $59,000 or about $28.34 per hour as of right now. That is May 2024. So if you average salary is this, and to live comfortably in a New York City, you need this, there's a bit of a discord. There's a disconnect. This ain't going to work. $301,184 a year for a family to live comfortably. Magnolia State, Mississippi, only takes $177,798 for a family of four to cover their expenses and maintain a satisfactory quality of life. Does that include putting money away? Can we save money on that? Because I don't think the American dream of home ownership and taking that, selling it, and retiring on the money that you make, I don't think that's going to be there. I don't think Social Security is going to be there. If you look at all of the unfunded liabilities of America, the big problem ones are things like the healthcare, Medicare, Medicaid, that kind of stuff. Those things are basically one good swift kick in the nuts away from collapsing, and at that point, the entire medical system collapses, and at that point, you better hope to God you know someone in your immediate family that can do healthcare stuff. I'm very blessed to be married to a former ER nurse and basically effectively a nurse practitioner who is highly educated at it and works for a good system and knows her stuff. My father, he's been getting kind of woozy. He's 80 years old. He's got some heart issues. And we told him to go and see the doctor immediately. Why? Because we know all the problems that are going on in the background. My dad needed to go see the doctor. So we told him, we said, you put your foot on their freaking chest until they get you to see the cardiologist. And he did. And it's a good thing because he's a little overprescribed in one drug, which is the blood pressure. His blood pressure was too low. And he was taking water pills, and he needed the water. So, good news is it wasn't anything major, but he figured it out. But think about it. Just to get in there, he had to fight. And they've got good health insurance. You know, my mom's a former educator herself, and she gets the Cadillac. You know, now they're not giving it out now, but she has the Cadillac insurance from being an educator. My dad has the windfall of this by being married to her. But I mean, just to get an appointment is a fight, you know. And they're old. They want to live and they want to see the grandkids grow up and do their thing. So they're fighting, and you know, it's not easy. And they're like some of the lucky ones. Now they made their luck, you know. It wasn't handed to them. They worked their tail off all their life, but they're literally people that are their age that when they go to Target, they're like, you know what? I could get the dog food and eat it, and that would be, you know, my thing. I mean, that's literally what some people think. I remember there's a Zero Hedge guy of comments, and everybody's got names. And the guy's name was Alpo For Granny. You guys remember Alpo, the dog food? Alpo For Granny was his name. A picture of a sweet old lady. That's where people are right now. It's bad. More inflation is on the way, and it is. That's the thing, is I'm sitting here talking to these kids with, you know, their smug smiles and their addictive phones and all this kind of crap, kind of trying to figure out, you know, what they're going to do with all the big crap sandwich that they're going to be biting into. I'm telling them, I'm like, man, you guys are screwed. You guys are getting a raw deal. You're getting a bill of goods that the other generations before you didn't have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with the kind of thing that, you know, like I said, this is not the time to F around. This is the time to get your butt in gear. Americans already contending with persistent and stubbornly high inflation. Just got more unwelcome news Tuesday. There are more price hikes likely coming down the pike. Wholesale inflation picked up in April, highest rate in a year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What does that translate to? That means all of your food, all that stuff, in the next 3 to 6 months is going to start to go up in price again. This is where they get the makings of your food products. You know, this isn't, you know, going to the store and all of a sudden the can of corn is up. No, this is the corn itself. It's going up in price. To produce that corn in April, it got much more expensive. And now it's going to keep going up. So inflation at the wholesale level rose much more than expected in April. The latest sign is that price pressures within the economy remain elevated and difficult to tame. Labor Department on Tuesday said that its producer price index measures inflation at the wholesale level before it has reached consumers, rose 0.5% in April from the previous month. Excuse me. So that's a lot. Like 0.2, 0.3, that's maybe like, ooh, this is not good. 0.5 is a crazy amount. So if you multiply that figure by 12 months, that's 6%. So that means over the year, 6%. And that's like what they're saying. That's not the number that we all know is real. Like they come out and they're like, oh, you know, inflation is, 4 or 5%. Horse crap. Inflation is like 22%. And we all know this. I mean, they can try all they want to sell us, you know, this flaming bag of dog doo-doo. But when you go in to the store and you're buying stuff, you see it. I mean, I have become a freaking master of trying to do things. I'm teaching my kids too. I'm like, look at the price. Okay, now look at the ounces. Now look at the, you know, ingredients. Is it organic? What's going on? You know, I'm trying to teach them, because I actually used to do purchasing for a catering company, trying to teach them how to be frugal when they're buying food. If it's $3.99 and it's 22 ounces, but it's $4.50 for 32 ounces, ooh, that's a good deal. I take the higher price one. Just because it's lower price doesn't mean it's better. And the bags and everything are deceptive. I mean, shrinkflation alone is something that people, you know, really are going to have to, you know, figure out as well. When you're buying toilet paper, you look at the square footage. There's a little thing on the side that'll tell you the square footage. You look at that. If the square footage is higher and the money adds up, I mean, there's ways to do things where you really figure it out, where you get it So you can get these mathematical equations to save you money. And if you keep doing it, if you're saving, $10 a grocery trip, it's 40, 50, 60 bucks on the month. And, that's, God, $1,700 on the year. That's a lot. Economic specter haunts America. Also one that many American politicians, Republican and Democrat, say a great deal about, but reluctant to address. And that's the most frustrating thing. And this guy's video I saw today was talking about our new neighbors coming over. And he said the most frustrating thing about it is that everybody in this country, everybody right now, is really having a tough time financially trying to figure out how to make it so you can mitigate the inflation. And then every single time you turn on the television, you turn on the radio, you turn on your computer, you're hearing about some new foreign package. I heard about another $2 billion a day to Ukraine. And right now you've got Alpo For Granny. It's coming. I mean, this is coming. Name of the shadow of the United States national debt. What the U.S. Treasury Department defines as the amount of money the federal government has borrowed to cover the outstanding balance of expenses incurred over time. If you go to the Treasury's website, just how big the debt is, $34.5 trillion. I was talking to a kid today. I was talking about his dad. I was like, does your dad know about, the debt and all that? And he said, oh, yeah. And he showed me a picture that his dad had showed him, trying to, tell him the same things. And it was the usdebtclock.org site. I told him, I said, you go home and you tell him that I think he's doing a great job as a dad. And people, again, the scariest thing about this is people just don't know. I will talk to people about the most mundane of modern current events. Hey, did you hear about the solar flare? Something that everybody's heard about. It's being kicked all over. And friends that look at it, you're like, oh, what? Yeah, the CME, dude, the sunspots. What? Hey, did you hear about the, silver going to $31 an ounce? What? People literally don't know. So what happens when all this rips its face off? What happens when the little regional banks start to go over? They're going to sit there, and those are the boneheads that are going to really cause the problems because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And then when it really times, the rubber hits the road, these are the boneheads that are going to be clogging up the aisles in the grocery store trying to figure out how to make it so they can get the food in the cart. Don't do that. Pace of the growth of the debt is equally stunning, approximately $1 trillion being added to America's national debt every 100 days. And what friggin' part of that is sustainable? How do you sustain that? That's $1 trillion added. That's not like we're paying it off or we're paying down the principal or blah, blah, blah. No. That's added to it. So by this time next year, we'll be at what, $37 trillion, right? What? Borrowing and spending another $1 trillion every 100 days is completely and utterly insane. Absolutely correct. I wouldn't just start borrowing $10,000 because I really want a truck, and do it every few months to pay for that super truck. But this is where we're at. This is what's going on. Fed Chair Jerome Powell warned interest rates may have to stay high for an extended period of time. Absolutely, they're going high. There's no other way. We have covered this here, folks. There is no other way for them to get out of the debt. They have to inflate their way out of the debt. They have to inflate. That means print money. That means get the money in there. And when you print money, it's like anything. It just makes things more expensive. Shoe example from the other night. Restaurant apocalypse starting to sweep. Now, I'm noticing this because of my side hustle of playing music. A lot of these clubs are not doing well. They don't have the people they had a year ago. I've been playing in this band for a while now. And, You go in there, the big daddy crowds, they're not there anymore. I mean, you really got to have someone special taking stage. You really got to have some kind of a deal going on at the bar. Because otherwise, people are not interested and they don't have the money to go out. 99 Red Lobster locations shut down. This happened the other day. I was sitting there and the alert came up onto my phone. Economic alerts have got set up. All the Red Lobsters around us are closing. Red Lobster is not a small restaurant chain. I mean, it is pretty well run. And here we are. Monday, LinkedIn, Neil Sherman, founder and CEO of TagX Brands liquidation firm, announced he was leading the closure of more than 50 Red Lobster locations, restaurant equipment to be auctioned off. If you're auctioning off things, you've got a problem. For the Red Lobster workers that just lost their jobs, the end came very suddenly. A third Red Lobster employee took the news in stride, posting, "Red Lobster just laid all of us off without notice and closed for good." Now, I don't know if you've ever seen that happen. Being a former restaurant guy, I know what it's like to go walking in and the big boss says, "Hey, you know what, just leave your stuff on the counter. We're not opening today. We're closed and probably for good." And you're done. You don't have another gig. You got bills coming up. That's why I learned to hustle. Because you feel this stuff coming and you're just like, what am I going to do? Takes time to get a job. That's I tell the kids that I work with. I say, if you're not doing your work, if you're like this, you take this into your job, your life. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, no one's going to sit there and be like, "Come on, you can do it." No, you're going to go walking in there and be like, "Give me your freaking keys and get out," and that's it. You're done. There's no you'll get a last paycheck. That's if you even, can. They usually mail it to you, at least in the restaurant biz. They don't get it. They don't get it. This generation doesn't get it. And they're going to get it because they don't get it. It's going to get bad. Third Red Lobster employee took the news in stride. Employee added and replied, "Red Lobster didn't tell managers until 8 a.m. yesterday." Can you imagine? You're rolling, you're good, you're ready for your paycheck, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, you're done. We're done here. We're closing." Walmart is closing stores. Columbus, gone. Bidding on items like laptops going for $20. Do not buy anything. Don't buy. Wait for the liquidation. The fire sale is coming. That's why I'm really glad I'm timing this whole, next vehicle thing out. When that next vehicle comes out, man, they're going to be begging people to buy cars and trucks and whatever. So what happens with all this? What happens? Where do we go? Well, the dollar will lose its currency status. The global reserve currency will get taken away. That's where we're going. That's what all this is. I read a story tonight that Russia and Iran are basically ready to go to create the BRICS currency. Do you really think, with all the crap going on in the world, that people are going to shun the BRICS currency? No, they're going to open arms and they're going to take hold, and they're going to be loving on it. Early 400s Roman Empire was coming apart at the seams in desperate need of strong, competent leadership. Honorius should have been the right man for the job. Born into a royal household in Constantinople, Honorius had been groomed to rule. Honorius had already accumulated decades of experience, yet Rome's foreign adversaries rightfully believed Honorius to be weak, out of touch, and divisive. Sounds like someone I know leading the country now. He paid vast sums of money to some of his most powerful rivals and received practically nothing in return. Sounds like America, paying off other countries. Inflations were high, taxes were high, economic production declined, Roman military power declined, and all of Rome's Rome's foreign adversaries were emboldened. That's exactly what's going on right now. People wonder what's going on. What's going on is America is dying. And because of that, the other countries feel emboldened. People are saying, "Oh my gosh, look at all the war stuff going on. Like, why aren't they going and trying to talk peace?" I've made this question myself. The reason why is because the other sharks smell blood in the water. They're not stupid. They know what's going on. They're like, "Ooh, we sit back, man. This whole sucker's going to collapse into the ground." You don't think they understand that people all over America are really pissed off and unhappy with the government? Think about if we got into a major conflict and we lost that thing. They're going to come riding in like a white horse. Couldn't help but notice you think the government's a piece of crap. Caters to new neighbors and not the home people, the domestics, the natives. Well, that's coming. So, as he goes through this story of Rome and all that, basically, folks, the dollar, United States, has been the world's dominant superpower for decades. But like Rome, in the later stage of the empire, the U.S. is clearly in decline, and it should not be a controversial statement. It's not a controversial statement. You know it's in decline. I know it's in decline. I wish people around me knew it was in decline. They just go on blissfully on. Like, this country is not going to resemble what it does now in 10 years, 20 years. I'm sitting there, I'm watching the silver price. I'm like, ooh, maybe I should make another purchase, right? I'm like, no, it's kind of high. It'll come back down. But then I'm like, what if it doesn't? What happens then? So, while I got you folks, on the live stream only, if you look up here in this corner, there are 3 dots. If you like what we're saying here, if you like what we're doing, please click on that 3 dots and hit the like button. Now, if you are not in the live stream, if you're listening to this after the fact, video style, you just hit the like button. You got to worry about the 3 dot thing, but they switched it. So 3 dot thing is up here in the corner. Please click that and hit some I like it, Mr. PrepperNow. So, the dollar is in trouble, folks. U.S. economy is still vast and potent, and the country is blessed with an abundance of natural resources, incredibly fertile farmland, some of the world's largest freshwater resources, and incalculable reserves of energy and other key commodities. Absolutely correct. We literally need nothing here except good leadership. Who we got there? Let me see that. Sorry. Mary, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Try to hit that like button. Yeah, thank you. That's very kind of you. I mean, here we are, you know. People in charge never seem to miss an opportunity to dismantle capitalism, economic system. That's what's funny. You know, they always come out like, you know, if we just had a better plan besides capitalism. Actually, if you didn't F everything up, if you didn't use crony capitalism to enrich your fat friends and make it so their businesses are the only thing, that's the thing. I mean, this is nowhere near capitalism. This is state control. This is closer to a centrally planned government and an economy than it is to capitalism. So, capitalism, you got to work. But guess what? Life is work. If you don't like it, grab a helmet and go away. Life is work. We have to work. We have to do stuff. We got to do the things. We have to work. And it's getting bad out there. Most of the U.S., of all the U.S., constantly shows off its incredibly dysfunctional government that can't manage to agree on anything. Did you guys see the Marjorie Taylor Greene AOC dust-up? I mean, if there was a brawl on the floor at some point, it would not surprise me. Heck, in Taiwan, there's a guy that they had a bill that they wanted to pass. Guy didn't like it. He went rolling up and stole the bill off the docket. They get crazy over there in Asia, but I think you get to understand what I'm saying. So, we're gearing for war. Dollar is dying. Our inflation's through the roof. Welcome to 2024. So the bottom line is that the U.S. is no longer strong enough to lead the world and keep adversarial nations in check. Absolutely correct. We are the sick man now. And we're doing the sick man things, making all the mistakes. And if you look at it, I mean, you could say that maybe this was not willful, but I doubt it. I think it's willful. I think these people want to run us into the ground so we can achieve the socialist paradise they've been pining away for so long. Dollar was clear and obvious choice as the global reserve currency back when America was the undisputed superpower. But today it's a different world. Absolutely. We're not post-World War II. We don't have the strong leadership we did back then. We don't have the moral country that we used to. I think it was Adams that said, these rules, this Constitution, this is fit for people that are moral and just and religious. This is not for people that are just going to go along to get along or whatever, live off the government dole. So, Congress passed a new law. SRD, thank you, sure. Oh, am I too close? I shouldn't be. I mean, it's what I usually do. That's weird. Sorry. Mic issue. Usual setup, so I don't know. I'm not going to go much longer anyway. So, all this ultimately leads to a world in which the U.S. dollar is no longer the dominant reserve currency. That's where we're heading. That's why people are buying silver, and that's why people are buying gold. That's why people are buying homes and other things. I mean, you have to. We're going to need stuff. You got to have physical items to mitigate this. That's the problem. But people don't understand it. They don't have that ability to kind of do it right now. Says PN, can one be moral without religion? I think so. I think one can be moral without religion, But I also think that, you got to have something to be beholden to. And for that one person, there are other people that really can't make it. And, and who says what morals are? Is it the country? Is it the society? Or is it your religious affiliation? So, yes, I think you can be moral without some kind of a religious bent or guidepost. But at the same time, I think there's got to be rules. And religion can do that. Religion can give that. 10 Commandments are pretty sound rules, if you ask me. So, now, do you have to be into God and all that to follow the 10 Commandments? No, not necessarily. Hopefully you will. But same thing, these are basic instructions before leaving Earth. So, I digress. We're heading towards a war. We're heading towards our reserve currency being crashed across the rocks of reality. And most people don't even see it. Most people don't even have an ability to see it. I mean, we're in real dire straits. So, I don't know. And I'm preaching the choir. I know you guys understand, but there's a lot of people that don't. And I was doing my soapbox with the students today, kind of telling them, hey, you guys, this is not the time to jack around. It's the end of the year and they're tired and all that. But this is not the time to jack around. And that's where we're going. people need to suck it up. They need to do the things. They gotta do whatever they can to hold on, because there's a major storm coming. 5 months. I think it'll happen around the election. I do. I think they'll come out with some BS that will affect the election and all that, or something will happen around it. And at that point, it's like, well, the fuse will be lit. And then all hell's going to break loose. Now, what that looks like, I don't know. I personally think it'll be something financial, or I don't know. I know they're trying to hold this prettiest horse in the glue factory together until November. I know they're doing everything they can, but it's pretty bad out there if you look at all this stuff. And at some point, it's going to break. So, and what they'll probably do is they'll probably be able to hold it off using the jokes or the manipulation they can do to get Mr. Orange Man bad in there, and then they'll hand off the flaming pile of dog doo-doo of our economy to him, and then go, hey, look at him, he's ruined it all. Oh, that's coming, folks. It's coming. So, all right, we're gonna step off. 12:45. I should go to bed. I'm gonna get up in 6 hours and let a puppy out. But hit those those dots up there in the corner if you can. If you're not if you're live streaming with me. If not, don't worry about it. Just hit the like button. But yeah, that does help. I appreciate you. Please do things to mitigate all this, whatever that may be. I'm not going to give you advice. I'm just going to tell you that there's a big daddy storm coming, and you better be ready to rock and roll, because it's going to get nasty. So, just a matter of time before the U.S. currency reserve is gone. Just a matter of time before nobody can pay for anything. And worthless currency, and we all will be that deer in the headlights. So, all right, friends, God bless you all. I appreciate you. Hit the like button and engage as you go. Leave a comment. All that helps. Stack, stock, stick to the plan. Keep your hand on the swivel and your powder dry. And I appreciate you coming by PrepperNow. We'll see you tomorrow on the next one.